Alright, YouTube, some of you will know, as well as airplanes, engineering and machining, I like Italian coffee and Italian coffee machines. And alright, I managed to acquire off eBay, not cheap, an Astoria Perla dual fuel espresso machine, and we're gonna go back in time, take her apart because it needs a little restoration, and just see what gives on the old thing. I've got side panels off. These things are built like tanks and they're reliable as anything. It's just one of those things I love. How can I put this? Italians, it's a lever machine by the way, Italians are not famous for building things that are electrical reliably. Sorry, anyone who's Italian out there. But it's like espresso was so important to them. They built these things properly to last, to be reliable, and even though this is an old one with no electronicals on it, even though it has both electricity and water in it, they're incredibly well built and reliable. And this one can run off gas as well. It's a dual fuel, so it's like, you know, even when there's a power cut, you've got different ways of filling the boiler. You can operate this thing, you can fly this thing totally manually, and you can make coffee anytime, anywhere, and that's good. Right, let's get a look underneath the drip tray. Gas pipe being cut off. Looks like water comes in here, and yeah, right, okay, looks like there's a filling valve there, and that'll be where this knob came from. Sadly, its knob is broken off, so we need one of them. As I say, yeah, water comes in here, and you can fill manually. There's also, or that valve there that's broken is a bypass, so there must be a solenoid that fills the boiler somewhere. And alright, there it is under the cup rack at the top is the solenoid which opens to let the boiler fill when you're connected to mains pressure. Okay, so that's what that is. Parker Hannafin looks like a fairly standard part that we can get. Alright, now when you're using this device on gas without electricity, there's an old-fashioned steam-driven sight gauge on the boiler. I'm just tipping it there to make sure that is real water in it. And so you can use that manual filling valve in combination with mains pressure to keep the boiler level up, even if you have no electricity, just gas. That's one of the things I like about this machine. You can fly it in whatever conditions you like with no power, nothing. Right, I just want to see if I can get the, sorry about the shaky camera work, get the innards out of this broken off plastic knob, because there's another valve at the back which is missing its knob, but it's not broken, it just needs a new knob. Pardon my French. English. Anyway, this bit's, that is going to come out of there. Even though it's a bit festered, it'll come out, and then I shall, there we go, attach it, it's just a little bit rusty there, to this valve here, which is the valve for draining down the boiler. This just comes out the bottom of the boiler, and when you open it, it drains to the outside world through the little collector under the drip tray. So that's an enormously long screw in there, but if we can get that out, come on, yeah, really didn't need that. I'll see if I can fiddle that knob onto there, which is a right pain to get at underneath everything. Yeah, there she goes, she's on. Put the screw in. If that valve feels alright and seals up, which is good, hopefully we'll only need the one. Just that's fiddly. Yeah, and that one moves okay. feels nice, so we'll call that good. And that should allow the boiler to drain to the outside world there. I think there's not much more to it under here. Alright, before too much dismantling, I think the thing to do is to be brave. Plug it into the wall. And contact, that's electrics only. Green light, yeah. Red light, green light, yeah, anyway. I'm gonna be brave. The lights haven't gone out yet. There's enough water in the boiler to turn the element on without doing any damage. So position 2, and we should be heating up. Hey, I can hear kettle noises. So the elements that go out, I'm going to replace it anyway and keep this one as a spare, and that's a good excuse to have a look inside the boiler. Don't touch live wires. This is like a negative pressure valve. As soon as we make some steam, that should pop up. I have checked. How does this go? I have checked the safety valve. It's free. I'll retrieve that later. Hopefully this little thing is like the negative pressure valve on a pressure cooker. That should pop up as soon as we make a little bit of steam. It smells like mice. It does smell like mice inside. I'm going to give it a good clean. I think it's been in an old barn or something. There's some dust and sawdust in there. Oh baby, up you pop. Once we got some pressure in the boiler, we can see if it cuts out, if the pressure stat is working. Well, it looks in reasonable order. I think that's the pressure stat down there because it's got a line down from the top of the boiler. This line goes forward to the gas valve to control the gas flame according to boiler pressure. Okay, we got some. Is that gonna? Yeah. I think that's gonna shift. We got steam. On close. Still steaming. Yay! Maybe we'll replace that if it looks leaky. I think there's a lot of scale and sediment in the old machine. But we are boiling for sure. Anything on the pressure gauge? Not yet. The valves closed. Yeah. Let's make sure those are closed. There's some steam coming out of somewhere else. Where might that be? Uh-oh. Drip tray. Okay. So in here, so I haven't connected the pressure gauge. Whoa! Power off. All right, I'd been silly and removed that line to get this off, to investigate changing this ball valve last night and forgotten to put it back. So it's steamed up the gauge a bit, but I've put it back on and we now have pressure coming up in the boiler and no other leaks. All right, and after just a minute or two we're in the green. So in theory everything looks pretty good up here. In theory we should be able to get water and steam out of it now. Aha! I think we just shut off. Looking hopeful. And we all want to know. I assume this flashing light is waiting, means it's waiting for the boiler to fill. I don't know. Oh, we all want to know. Yeah. She's a goer. Let's drop the pressure a bit and see if the heater comes back on. And can we make steam? Oh yeah. Can we make hot water? Yep. That is really pretty hopeful. Like I say, I'm going to put a new element in. I'm going to keep this one as a spare. Safety valve looks as though it's been replaced fairly recently. This, I think, wants replacing because there's steam coming out of it. It's leaking a little bit. I think we can get steam coming out the drip tray now. I think we can get this thing going. I want to replace the element, like I said. I don't know how easy it's going to come out. Surprisingly easily. I don't think the machine's in terrible condition. Just want to see what's inside the boiler, if any coffee sediment has got back from the group head, if the check valve was working properly. Hey, oh, that's still hot. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. And that doesn't look too... I mean, there's some lime scale sitting on the bottom there, but you'd expect that. I think I'm just going to give it a good clean out. Flush it a few times with fresh filtered water. Stick a new element in and make some coffee. Just see if we've got any other issues with it. You know, give it a thorough flush, new element, fresh filtered water, make some coffee. Let's do it. Alright, actually I need to fix this first. Now, looking on the interweb last night, this is one of the few parts for this machine that you can't get easily. But fear not, got a regular ball valve from RS Components here. Only trouble with this, it's only got one male threaded end, so we need to sort that out. But luckily, like the A-Team, I'm locked in a shed with a lathe and plenty of materials. So I'm going to make a little straight threaded coupler to adapt that, and then burst out using nothing but coffee driven excessive enthusiasm. Alright, I've unscrewed that ball valve and it's left a piece of itself behind in the fitting that won't come out, but I think with a bit of heat, it's been glued up with sealant. Usually some heat will break that down. Not to melt it, just till the flame goes a little bit green from the copper and the brass, and then we should be, in fact before the flame even goes green, she's probably going to come. Give it a try. Come on. Alright. Will it, won't it? Yeah. No problem. Alright, quick trip to the lathe. And a little tip. If you've got a lot of brass stock to waste, like me, because I haven't got a small piece of brass, and you don't want to cover yourself and your lathe in a billion tiny sharp needles, which get in your feet 3 months later and start to go septic. I hate brass swarf. Take really heavy cuts to remove the stock with a very, very light feed by hand, and you'll make more manageable chips. Unfortunately, this is the second attempt I'm having at this straight threaded rod. I cut the first bit just a fraction undersized and it was too loose. But going I'll have another go. It's what I need to make for the other end of the valve, so it's got straight threads both ends. Okay, and surprisingly, I don't know what these Italian threads are, but surprisingly, a 1/2 inch 19 pipe thread screws in very well, so that's what I'm going to use. Alright, quickly cut some threads again, second time. Hope I don't go undersized this time. I sped this up because there are plenty of good threading videos on YouTube that you should watch if you want to know about cutting threads in a lathe. Not mine. Anyway, that's that done. I'm just going to try on the see if I did a better job this time. Maybe these metric Italian threads are close to 19, but they're slightly bigger than 1/2 inch, I don't know. But they thread on just fine until you run into that wall of sealant inside there. So that's what I'm going to use with some PTFE tape probably. And that will do just fine. Alright, so there's our little part. I've left a flat face on there, so that will just seat. Seat inside there, and I'll find a sealing washer because we've got two machined faces here and here which can seal as they did before with the washer. So I'll find a little copper washer for that. And here's where I'm running into a little alignment issue. See, what the Italians did was just screwed this in with some sealant and tightened the bejesus out of it and got kind of lucky with the final position. I want this one to end up, or maybe they didn't get lucky, maybe they designed it very intentionally to end up in that position. Ooh. Yes, yeah, here we go. I want this one to end up in that position. Is it going to go another turn? Yeah, another turn. Ooh. Yeah, we might get away with that with some PTFE tape on there. Alright, what I'm actually going to do, rather than use PTFE tape and goop, as this valve will fit in the lathe, I'm just going to cut a flat seat for a sealing washer, and we'll deal with the alignment by using different thicknesses of washer or something like that. But that's enough for tonight. It's getting cold and late and I'm tired, so I'm going home. Alright, I've got my little valve done. It's the next day. I'm just going to suck out the goop from this boiler. And there's a little bit more there. Suck out the lime scale. Don't watch this if you're having a colonoscopy tomorrow. And it's good. Alright, this video has got long. I've put the new element in. I've poured water in through the little negative pressure valve. We've flushed the boiler completely 3 or 4 times with clean filtered water, just letting it out, you know, filling it, heating it up, letting it out of various places. I've ground some coffee. I'll stick it in this basket. This is not my usual basket. The tamper I've got doesn't fit and I haven't got anywhere to tamp, but we're going to go for it anyway. I've ground this coffee as I would grind it to work with the same dose in my Rancilio grinder, but it'll probably go horribly wrong in this machine. But we have to try. Got to start somewhere. A little flush there. Yeah, let's warm up the cup a little bit. And where does that lock in? Like that. Now with the lever machine, you pull the lever down, That allows the boiler pressure, about 1.5 bars, to go onto top of the puck. After about 10 seconds, you may or may not see a little drip of coffee. Release the lever. Now I think I'm ground a bit coarse or not tamped properly here, because it's flowing okay, but I'm keeping a tiny bit of weight on the lever to keep the pressure down. I ain't got up to the full 9 bars there. And but it's running okay, and it's beginning to go a bit blonde and wiggly, which means I think it's probably done. I think I needed to grind coarser for this particular machine. I'm going to stop it there and undo the portafilter. They don't have a valve that releases the pressure on these lever machines, so your puck is often a bit wet, but that's not a problem. A little taste. Not amazing, but I've been served a lot worse than that in cafes. It needed to grind a little bit finer for this particular machine and this particular basket, but I've had worse. All in all, quite encouraging. I should, I guess, attempt to steam a small quantity of milk. Not used to this thing at all. It's got one of those 4-hole steamers and a lot of steam. But in the name of science, what I did notice is, Jesus, that gets hot quickly. Could have done with more milk in the picture, but I just wanted to prove a point really. I made far too much foam, far too much air in that. But I'm going to have to pour some away. In the name of science and research, let's pour a little pattern and drink. Not so terrible. Not the worst coffee I've ever drunk. Alright, it's going to be hard for you to see that. You can see it. I am really, really pleased that I found one of these. They're getting rare and hard to get hold of. And as I say, they're really reliable, built like tanks. You can get 99% of the bits for them. And I think the thing to do is to take it home, put it in service. Thanks for watching. Good night. Please remember, if you like these videos, like, share and subscribe. It really helps. And have a good evening. And happy Lunar New Year, by the way. It's Year of the Tiger today, 1st of Feb.